Now, we're going to move on to the next concept in fractions, and this focuses on fraction of a set. Let's look at this first example here. Ben has 5 pens. We can see in the diagram below that there are a total of 5 pens drawn in the picture. So this means 1 group, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we were to find out the fraction of green pen, we will realize that out of the 5 pens, 2 out of 5 pens are green. So this means the fraction of green pens will be 2 out of 5 of the pens are green. So this is something that we have learned in primary 3. Let's look at something a bit more challenging. Priya has 15 pens. Clearly from the diagram, you can see there are 15 pens. Find the fraction of the pens which are green. So before we find a fraction, we have to group the pens into equal groups. That means each group should have the same number of pens. And from the diagram, we can clearly see that the equal groups will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 equal groups. Okay? And out of the 5 equal groups, 2 groups are green pens. Therefore, the fraction of green pens will be 2/5 of the pens are green. Now, is there something that we have learned in primary 3 that can help us to find the answer 2/5? Clearly there is. We know that if we were to write the fractions of green pens out of the total number of pens, we will get 6 out of 15 pens are green. This means 6 out of 15 will give me the fraction of green pens. However, we always express our fraction in its simplest form. So let's change this to its simplest form. Divide by 3, divide by 3. And this will give our answer to 2/5, which is similar to what we found. So this means to find fraction of a set is actually to find the simplest form of the fraction. With diagrams, it is very easy to put our objects into equal groups. What if we are not given a diagram in a question? How can we use our model to actually find our answer for fraction of a set? Let's look at the next example. Find the value of 2/5 of 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a model. And 15 is going to represent one whole. So this is one whole. From the question, we know that we need to divide our one whole into 5 equal parts. And we get the value from the denominator in our question. So this means I have to divide into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We also know that the question asks us to find 2/5 out of 15. So 2/5. So how do we find this answer? So 1 part of this model is equals to 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. So 5 units will give me 15. 1 unit, 15 divided by 5, and this will give me 3. So that means every 1/5 will give me 3. So the number of shaded units, the number of units that are shaded in the model are 2 units. So 2 units equals to 3 times 2, and this will give me 6. So 2/5 of 15 is 6. Does model always work for this type of question? So let's look at another example with the same concept. Find the value of 3/4 out of 16. So from the diagram, we can see that the denominator is a quarter. That means my one whole must be divided to 4 equal parts. So this is my one whole. And this equals to 16. So 4 equal parts. Okay. So they want 3/4. So we're going to highlight 3 units. Okay. So in each unit is 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. So they now want you to find the value of the shaded part. So following the same example as the previous question, 4 units is equal to 16. 1 unit is equals to 16 divided by 4. And this will give me 4. So the number of units that are shaded are 3 units. And once again, 1 unit, if you've forgotten, is 1/4. So 3 units is 3/4. And this will be 4 times 3. And this will give me 12. So 3 out of 4 of 16 equal is 12. Now, let's look at another same example to see whether you have understand the question. So on a piece of paper or inside your maths notebook, copy down this question here. Find the value of 2 out of 7 of 21. I'll give you 2 minutes to complete. Okay, you should have completed your question. So let's go through. So obviously we draw the one whole, and this equals to 21. This one whole is divided to 7 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is 1 out of 7, 1 out of 7, okay, as shown in the video here. The question is asking for 2 out of 7. So let's highlight 2 units. And find the value of the shaded part. So 7 units is equals to 21. 1 unit, which is 1 out of 7, which equals to 21 divided by 7, and this will give me 3. 2 units that are shaded, which is 2 out of 7, will give me 12. 3 times 2. Oh, I'm so sorry. Should be 6. So 2 out of 7 of 21 is 6. Okay. I hope it's much more clearer on how we find the answer, the value of a fraction of a set. Now, let's look at page 109 of your homework. I'm going to use question number 2 as an example for us to go through together, and you will do the remaining questions in the assignment as homework, and then check your answers accordingly to the answer key given in the activity. So let's read the question here. There are 21 figures. Fill in the blanks and express each answer in its simplest form. So, simplest form. Okay. Now, to make it to simplest form means out of 21, how do I group them into equal groups? That means in every question, in every group must be equal in number. We will know this by looking at the question. Let's look at question number A. What fraction of the figures are shaded? So this means I need to put them into equal groups, shaded and unshaded groups. So using my blue pen, 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, 6 groups, 7 groups. So there are 7 equal groups. Out of the 7 equal groups, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have 7 equal groups. Out of 7 equal groups, 4 groups. So 4 out of 7 equal groups, are shaded. So this means our first answer is 4 out of 7. If 4 out of 7 are shaded, the fraction that are not shaded are just 1, 2, and 3. So this will give me 3 out of 7. Okay. Now, for the next question, C, they are focusing on shapes. So squares and circles. And since the original equal groups still are in the same shape, so each shape in the groups are all the same, we can use it to do question number C. From here, what fractions of the figures are squares? 1, 2. So 2 out of 7 equal groups are squares. They never mention shaded or unshaded squares, so we assume both. So 2 out of 7. Question number D. What fraction of the figures are shaded squares? Only one group is shaded square. So this will be 1 out of 7. Okay. Lastly, what fractions of the squares are shaded? So now they are asking you for squares only. So we're going to erase those groups that are not squares. So it means all the circles. So let me erase it. Sorry, take some time now. Okay. Now, between these two, one, two. So there are 2 equal groups of squares. Out of these 2 equal groups, only one group is shaded. Therefore, my fractions will be half. The key word is fractions. The set we are looking at are squares. Okay. So proceed on to finishing up your homework. Instructions will be given in the later activity. Okay. If you don't understand, you can look at the video again. If you still do not understand after watching it a few times, then you can ask a question on Class Dojo, posting it to me. Have a great home-based learning day. Thank you.